Okay, so for the next 6 questions, we're using this data set. I think this is going to be easier explained through Excel. So I have written down the questions, like what is the mean standard deviation z-score on Excel, and we're going to use that to calculate and get the answers. So let me switch over to Excel and we can go from there. Okay. So the first question is asking for the mean. So the way that we're going to calculate the mean is we're just going to do equals average of all of our data. And that's our mean. And the question is asking what is the mean to 1 decimal point? So we would just say 75.2. And a way that we can do this on Excel, where it can round for us, is you see these two. Whenever you click on this one, this makes it so that there's less decimal places, so it decreases the decimals. This increases, so we want to decrease, right? We want 1 decimal, so 75.2. Okay, so now we can move on to number 8. So number 8 is asking what is the standard deviation? Since this is a sample, right? It says below are the speeds of sample. We have to make sure to use stdev.s. So .s stands for sample. So we're going to click here and we're going to put all of our data. And there we go. And for this problem, it's asking to 2 decimal places, so we can use that feature that we just talked about in the other problem. So let's do this. There we go. 6.53. Number 9. So number 9 is asking for the z-score of a vehicle traveling at 62 miles per hour. Hopefully you guys remember the formula for z-score. The formula is x, I'm going to put that right here. So x minus mean divided by standard deviation. So this is our x value. We have our mean and standard deviation calculated here. So this becomes really easy to do. You want to be careful with the parentheses. So pay attention to what I'm doing here. I put the parentheses first, then I do x, so our x, minus our mean, close parentheses, then divide it by the standard deviation. If you don't put the parentheses in the right places, like if you don't have this there, you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay, so there we go. And we're going to round this to, I'm going to have no decimal places because all the answer choices that we have are like 1, 2, -1, -2. So I'm just going to decrease it all the way to here. So number 9 would be -2. Number 10 is asking for the range. So how do we calculate the range? The formula is max minus min, right? The largest number minus the smallest number. It would take a long time to try to sit here and figure out, oh, where's the largest number? Is it 82? No, is there? No, we have 85. And then what's the smallest number? You know, is it 71? Is there anyone 69? That could take forever to do. But Excel has this very easy formula, very easy equation that we can use that gives us the answer within seconds. So we can do equals max and put all of our data in, and then minus min and all of our data. And when we do that, we get 29. So the range is 29. All right, now we can move on to number 11. So 11 is, they're asking for the z-score for a speed of 88. So that's very similar to what we did in 9. We're using the same formula, x minus mean divided by standard deviation, because that's the z-score formula. So same thing. So x, this is our x value, minus our mean. That's what we calculated in number 7. So 75.2 divided by our standard deviation. And when we do that, we want to have no decimal places, right? We just want to have it as a whole number. So 2. All right. I'm just going to move this here so that it aligns with here. Okay. So our answer for 11 is 2. Number 12 is saying, using Chebyshev, what is the percentage of cars that will travel with a speed from 62 to 88 miles per hour? Something I want to point out is that whether you use the z-score for 62 or 88, you're going to get the same answer. Because whether you use 2 or -2 in the Chebyshev formula, you're going to be squaring it, so it's not going to make a difference. So the Chebyshev formula is 1 minus 1 divided by z squared. So I'm going to put that right here, 1 minus 1 divided by z squared. Okay. And we can choose either, like I said, we can choose either 62 or 88 to plug into this formula. I'll do both of them just to show you that you do get the same answer. All right, so we already calculated those two values here, -2 and 2, right? So let's do 62 first. So our z-score value is -2. So we're going to do 1 minus 1 divided by, I'm just going to cell reference because I think that's easiest. There we go. So we get 0.75, so 75%. So this was using -2. Now let's do it with 2. Okay, so using 88, which our z-score would be 2, we calculated here. So again, same formula. We're going to use 1 minus 1. Oh, make sure you have the parentheses in the right place, which is what I was just making a mistake on, but I just caught myself, so that's good. Okay, so 1 minus 1 divided by 2 squared. And there you go. I'm also going to point out right now that because I cell referenced, these values are not exactly 2, right? Like if we were to do this, it's like 1.962. But if you were to actually use like 2, so let's just copy this formula right here. And let's actually use like a whole number, not these decimals. We're going to get exactly 0.75. Okay, and let's do the same thing here. And let's make sure to just use like a whole number. There you go. So we'd get the same answer. So just one more time, I want to say that the reason that these two are not exactly the same is because I use cell referencing and I cell reference these two values. And if you guys remember, we rounded these values. But if you were to increase the decimal places, you're going to see that this isn't exactly 2. And this value isn't exactly 2 either. So when you square it, your numbers are a little bit off. But for the purposes of this class, just make sure that you are just using this whole number right here. Yeah, so the answer would be 75%.